we think is a game changer. This is the last frontier in aviation, being able to fly from the east coast of the United States to the east coast of Australia, and from London to the east coast of Australia. Interesting with this flight, because we're testing an idea that the scientists came up with. But it's also going to be asking people, how do they find that? Are the meals too close together? Were the meals not right? Did they not like the fact that it was all fluids and no alcohol? What do you think is the right combination on it? So this is always going to be a combination. And we're going to give people the choice at the end of the day. It's going to be people deciding, do you want the healthy way of doing it that the scientists recommended? Or do you want to actually drink as much as you want to fly and as much as you want and stay up late at night? So it'll be up to the individual what they want, but it's going to be informed. And the whole purpose of this is giving them an informed choice. What we're always about, as I believe the safest airline in the world, is making sure we're always looking at ways of minimizing fatigue for the pilots and crew. How do we do rostering? How do we ensure that the rest areas on the aircraft are right? This will inform that. And for our passengers, it still will work. It gives them the idea, them the concepts of what they need to do to travel healthily. So I think this will be really good whatever happens with Sunrise. Okay? Good, guys.
So tonight's flight is really significant because it's the first time ever we've been able to join the east coast of the United States with the east coast of Australia without stopping. The purpose of the flight primarily is to perform some research and look at the effects of ultra long haul flying on the effects of the pilots and the crew and the passengers. So getting adequate rest, being able to move around, adequate exercise, getting to establish correct sleeping patterns and when to take the correct rest break. So there are a number of the things that we'd need to consider. The research for these flights is extremely important in that it establishes the viability of our human performance as we move forward into longer and longer flights. So we're looking at pilot health and well-being, but the research will also benefit what we currently do. Normally out of air traffic control out of JFK is really busy. We often get lengthy delays. Tonight, we had the quickest ever departure. We got a pushback and start straight away, taxi with no delays, and a takeoff without any problems at all. So it's the quickest departure I've ever had out of JFK and probably the quickest I'll have ever had. So there's been a lot of interest on the radio, air traffic control and other aircraft. They're interested in where we're going and how long that flight's going to take. And when we give them the 19-hour and 5-minute flight time, they're quite amazed that we're actually doing it. Sure, so it's 19 hours and 5 minutes. We've taken off with 101.3 tonnes of fuel, and we expect to burn around 95 tonnes of that fuel by the time we land in Sydney. Yeah, so the weight of the aircraft, everyone's sitting up in the premium cabin. I've never had a flight like this with so few people, 50 people in total really on the flight. Very low maintenance, yes, and probably the longer the flight, the longer I get to sleep as well. Look, this is a career highlight for me, and there's only ever a one first, and this is it. And so we're really excited about flying into Sydney, and the way the wind is at the moment, it looks like we're going to be flying down the harbour. A great view of the bridge and the Opera House as we make our way down final approach. So a fantastic way to end such a long flight. There is a little bit of pressure there. There's always pressure, but this one is up another notch.